Waiting for it. There we go. We are live. Good morning. We're into October. And October's all about your message, your story, and your audience. The three key components that you need to be successful in any presentation, any speech you make, but anytime you open your mouth to talk about your business. If you don't know those three things, it's going to be a struggle. So today I'm going to start with talking around the idea of what we tell ourselves, because what we tell ourselves directly impacts on what we are able to tell other people. You see, it's our own little mind monkeys, our own inner voices that often stop us from giving a really clear message to somebody. And it's often because we have convinced ourselves, rightly or wrongly, that we're not that great, it's not that important, everybody else does it, I don't want to be bragging, I don't want to be doing this. We take on messages, and it is really interesting to me that we tend to believe the ones that aren't true much more readily than the ones that are true. If you think back to how many compliments you get that you just brush off, you blow them off as if, oh, people can't possibly mean that. But the minute somebody says something mean to you, they've got you. You're going to believe it. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story and how some of the messages I received impacted on me. Now, those that know me know I'm on my third husband. Yeah, I'm doing really well. Third husband. Second husband, with him for long time, 20 odd years, it was a long time. And we lived with his mother for most of that, for all sorts of reasons, and that's not my story to tell, but we ended up living with his mother. And his mother's passed on now, and I know that she will forgive me for sharing this, but my mother-in-law was a demon. She was evil at times. And it was a real struggle for me living with her. Now, Andy, second husband, was an only child, her only son. And yeah, you could tell. Absolutely. She doted on him. So when we moved in to look after her because of her marriage breakdown, I willingly said, yes, let's do this. And at that point, I was quite happy in my skin. I was quite content in my skin and happy to do all that. But as time went on, my mother-in-law chipped away at me constantly. I wasn't a good wife. I wasn't a good mother. I wasn't this. I wasn't that. It went on and on and on. And most of it was ridiculous. Most of it was complete rubbish. But I ended up calling her my psychic vampire, because it used to feel like she would just dig in and suck everything out of me. And I began to believe her. I began to think that I wasn't that great a wife and I wasn't that great a mother. And the reason for that apparently was because I went out to work. Andy and I both worked. Could never get through to her that we had to work because we were paying the mortgage on her house. We'd had to buy the house in order for her to stay living there. So it was all a bit complicated, but she didn't get it. And her and I relationship just became nothing. And the years went on, and I had a breakdown. I had all sorts of things, and in the end, I had to go. I had to walk out. It didn't matter what my relationship with hubby number two was. I had to leave. And when I left, I was still completely convinced that I was this bad mother. I didn't know what I was doing. I was horrible. I was evil. I was this. I was that. So when it came to me, when I decided that I wanted to do something more with my life, that I felt like I had been stifled, I had to learn to take those messages out of my head, because otherwise I was coming at my career, my work, my business, everything else with this big bag of rubbish attached to my shoulder that I believed. So I felt I had to tell everybody else that. I ended up apologizing if I'd, done something that wasn't absolutely perfect, or even if it was. So how many of you end up going, oh, I'm really sorry, but can I just ask a question? Oh, I'm really sorry, but here's my report. I hope it's okay. Even though you've spent 2 weeks working on it and it's brilliant. Because we begin to believe the messages inside ourselves. And a lot of those messages start when we're young, especially girls. We girls are told to keep quiet, be pretty, don't boast, don't get into fights, don't do this, don't do that, let's do our nails, let's look pretty. Boys are encouraged to go out there, play rough games. They're expected to, stand up for themselves and their sisters, all sorts of stuff. And, each generation that has got slightly better. But when I was a kid, it was very much boys, girls separate. So we all had our own sort of way that we believed we were supposed to be. Actually, I was a tomboy, so I didn't really believe all that. And I loved to climb trees and I loved to get messy in the dirt and everything else. But my sisters were all ballet dancers and beautiful. And so again, message upon message. So all we do is we fill this big bag full of rubbish and then we carry it around with ourselves. So when I talk to my clients about being able to spread their message and their story, enabled to grow their business, they are having to learn to reframe those messages. I work with women who have done incredible things. Sailing around the world, taking up triathlete stuff at the age of 50 and running millions of miles and swimming across oceans and all sorts of stuff, and women who have built tech that didn't exist before. And without doubt, the majority of them just sort of go, well, doesn't everybody? Well, they don't. So if that's what they're thinking, they're not telling people about their business. So I want you to really think about the messages you believe. When you sit and think about your business and what you do, and think of it from an emotional point of view about what you do, how often do you apologize for that? Or are you able to sit up and say, I'm actually really, really good at this. I get results. And how often do you believe the people that tell you that you're awesome? And thank you for the work you've done for them. And thank you for the results that you've helped them get. We forget very quickly as humans, because then the next message comes in that completely deletes everything we've said before. It's like that annoying word, but. And that's what it is in life. It's the but. I've done a great job, but. Wow, I've spent 3 days doing that presentation. It's lovely, but. And we have to take that word but off the top. But I would like to ban it completely, because that one little 3-letter word negates everything that went before. It just wipes it out. And because in our heads, if you think, that mind monkey, that imposter syndrome is your very own giant butt, and you can take that with 1 T or 2, I don't mind, you have to kick that butt out. You really do. So that your brain can continue with I've spent 3 days, this is an awesome presentation, and I'm going to give it to my boss today. Smile. You see, the brain believes the but. The first thing the brain does is go, oh, none of the rest was true. Now we're heading towards the truth. Imagine a road with a fork in it. It's a straight road, but at one point, one goes one way, one goes the other. And that's where the but happens. You want to take that out. You want to barrier up those other 2 routes and keep going down that straight one where the truth resides. And this is not about bragging. This is not about, oh, how wonderful I am and it's better than everybody else and aren't I great? There's enough of that in the world. This is about owning your success and your achievements. It's about recognizing your achievements and your success and being able to, at the very least, know the truth inside yourself. And then just do it. Just get on with it. So I know I am great at what I do. I'm a great speaker and I'm a great coach. I don't have to shout it around the world because my work speaks for itself. But I'm very proud of myself for the work I did to get here. I'm very proud of myself with the training and the experience and everything else I got and I gathered together and my qualifications to get to where I am today. I am really proud of the self-development I've done on myself to be able to sit and say everything my mother-in-law told me wasn't true. She may have believed it, but it's not true. And I know now that she knows it was wrong. But what she taught me was how to forgive. What she taught me was how to be really resilient. It was done in a really horrible way, and I would not wish it on my worst enemy, and I really wouldn't want to go through that lesson again. But in hindsight, it made me who I am today. And I'm very proud of who I am today for my own self, not for everybody else. And I know my kids are proud of me, and I know my friends are proud of me, and my family are proud of me. And that's all I really need, to be able to sit and go, you know, you need to work with me. I'm really good, and I can get you results. I can show you how to do this. I can take you on that journey and get you where you want to be. And that creates a trust in other people. So it's the messages we give ourselves that will impact. They will impact really big on how we show ourselves and our business to the world. I want you to think about that, and I want you to just be aware of how many times you say sorry in a day for the work you do. I want you to think about your life, your timeline, and pick out those pivotal moments when you've done something amazing for you. It doesn't have to be amazing compared to the rest of the world, just amazing for you. And then think about, do you take some of that negative belief into your business message? Or are you able to stand up proud of the business you own and tell the world without apologizing for it? Now, if you need any help doing that, you know where I am, Bev at bevhedson.com. You can check out, well, you can't check out the website at the moment because I'm redoing it, but I'm all over social media. So just ask questions and I will do my best to answer them for you. But remember, the messages you tell yourself will always impact on the messages you give to other people. Okay, bye, and I'll see you on the next one. Okay.